So I wonder this a lot as a Christian, and I wonder as a Christian yourself, or even if you're not a Christian, and even if you don't believe in heaven or God, it is always interesting and fun to think about, like, if there is a heaven up there, what are we going to eat? What would it be like to live in a world that is utopia, basically? And I believe that in heaven, we won't be able to eat meat anymore because it won't be necessary to eat meat in heaven. Because in Revelation, God has told us that sin will no longer reside in heaven because wherever God is, sin cannot exist. God is so pure that his light is so pure that it eradicates any evil within his presence. So when we are, as Christians, as saints in his presence, the evil will be gone. The sin will be gone from our flesh, from our minds. And I don't even know how that's going to feel like. It's going to feel like when I'm maybe similar to when we were just little kids, like 5 years old, and we didn't know what evil was or thought about it or thought about evil when we were kids. And I imagine it would be like that. But in heaven, everything will be perfect. Everything will be like the Garden of Eden. And I don't know if you remember in Genesis chapters 2 and 3 in the Garden of Eden, everything was perfect. Everything was optimal, abundant, more resources than there should be because God was there and he was taking care of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And he blessed the Garden of Eden because it was perfect. It, like the nutrients and the nutrients from plants, vegetables, nuts, everything, the trees, they were all potent and optimal, and there was no predators, there were no chemical defenses in all these vegetables. Everything was just perfect and nutritious. And in my opinion, back then, there was probably more oxygen in the air. There was probably more nutrition in fruits, in vegetables, and they were probably much more bigger because there was more oxygen in the air. And I believe that because, God's intention with the Garden of Eden was for us to have that for us as well, for the lineage of Adam and Eve, which is us, to have that space to live in. And that's what heaven, in my opinion, is going to be like, based on what Revelation says in the King James Bible, is that in heaven, everything will be optimal, everything will be abundant, so there won't be a need for animals to be killed because now we have the tree of life and it's going to be there, and we're going to be in the presence of God where sin no longer will exist. And because God is there and he's able to just give us food that is optimal without having to kill anything, it's going to be a place where we no longer eat meat. In Revelation chapter 21, verse 4, there shall be no more death. That would include animals. I believe we're going to be vegetarians or vegans in heaven. I mean, that's not the term I don't think God would use. I think it would just be like a given that we would just eat fruits, vegetables, or some kind of manna, which is like angel food from heaven, and be fine with it, and that would fulfill us enough. But I truly don't believe meat is something we will eat in heaven. There would be no killings anymore because, as Revelation says, there shall be no more death. And it's going to be a place where the Garden of Eden will be heaven. It will be, everything will be optimal, abundant. We'll have our genes regenerated because we're eating from the tree of life now again. We won't have our genetic code degraded over time. We will have enough bioavailability from the nutrition that we get from the fruits, the vegetables, everything that God has up there that doesn't come from animals. We will have enough of that up there in heaven. I mean, maybe there could be a possibility where we maybe could eat meat without having to kill an animal, because with God, anything is possible. But I wonder how that would look like. For sure, there won't be any killings of animals in heaven. And this is something I'm sure vegans will rejoice because, I understand why someone would want to be vegan. Who doesn't want animals to be saved? Like, who doesn't, unless you're a psychopath? We live in a fallen world, unfortunately, where meat right now is very nutritious and bioavailable to most humans, and humans need it. And as long as animals are not being tortured for food, for being food for us, I think it's okay, because I know it's okay because God says so. And I listen to God, who is the creator, inventor of the universe and everything in it. And if he says meat is okay, it's okay to eat meat. Okay? So I hope this video helped. It's a bit different from my other videos, because I just love talking about the Bible and about God, and I feel like based on what I've seen online, you guys like watching videos about health in the Bible and what God says about it. So I hope it helped, and I hope you have an amazing day. And with that being said, you guys, if you are struggling with pain, overall discomfort, you have a bad memory loss, you have a foggy brain, you can't think efficiently, right? When you talk to people, you can't conversate well either, you feel tired all the time, and most of all, you have a bloated stomach, then you're gonna have to watch my video down below that I created just for you about the 7 mistakes that you are making to not heal your gut. Okay? Have an amazing day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.